Hey guys, welcome back to Craft County. Today I'm going to be making a pair of DIY earrings, and I'm going to combine both some wire wrapping techniques and a couple macrame knots. So I've been wanting to try out some of these boho style macrame earrings for a while, and I remembered that I did have a pair of earrings that I just don't wear anymore. So I've decided to borrow some of the hardware from that and use that with my macrame earrings. Wire wrapping can look a little complicated and maybe a little hard to tackle if you're a beginner, but I promise that this project is super easy to do and it'll get you familiar with some of the basic techniques for wire wrapping. So for our project, you will need cotton rope. I'm using 1/4 inch cotton rope that I previously dyed in one of our other videos. You'll need a pair of wire clippers, some jewelry pliers, some earring hardware. Again, you can borrow that from an old pair or you can pick some up at your local craft store. Some wire, and I am using some 20 gauge silver wire today, and something to wrap your wire around to shape your earrings. So to start this project, you want to grab your cotton rope that you'll be using. For this one, I'm using the 1/4 inch cotton rope, and what I actually am doing here is untwisting that. So you're going to untwist the cord that you're using. If it is that large, or if you're using a smaller cord, you can definitely use the full thing. But I just split this into the 3 sections and then cut those sections into 8-inch pieces. So those 8-inch pieces, you will actually pull in half one more time. And if you like your fan or your macrame piece to be a little bigger or a little smaller, you can definitely adjust the size of those portions. After I have my cotton cord cut, I'm going to make sure I have my earring hardware ready to go, so I'll just remove that with my pliers. And then I've also cut off about a 3-foot long piece of my 18 gauge wire. And I'm taking that piece and I'll be starting by just folding that in half. I want to make sure my ends are matching up here and that I'm not crushing the top of that loop too much. So this will be where your hardware connects to your earring. So you'll want to leave that loop open just a bit at the top. Then I'm just keeping both sides right next to each other and just flattening that out. Once you have about 4 to 5 inches started, you can go ahead and take your pill bottle or whatever you're using to make the shape of your earring, and you can just wrap that around there. I'm just making a couple loops, or about a loop and a half, just to make sure I can overlap that here at the top. So once you have the size that you'd like, or around that size, you're going to just loop the wire back around that first loop to hold that in place, and then bring it toward the front again. So then you create somewhat of a serpentine pattern up at the top around that loop. And then I'm actually going to take that, again keeping those side by side, I'm going to go back around one more time. And this is just to make more of a decorative pattern towards the top of your earring. You don't have to double loop it. You could keep looping it if you want more of a design on there. But I just wanted to make sure I could secure that loop up at the top a little better. Right. And then you're just going to wrap that around one more time to make that loop up at the top. So to finish this off, I'm just twisting the wire toward the back here, and then I'm going to snip it off. And then I'm just going to use my pliers to clamp down those raw edges so that you're not poking yourself at all with that when you're wearing them. So after I have my back secured and pushed down, I'm going to start on my macrame portion. So I'm going to take one of those sections of the cotton rope and hitch it onto my earring. So I'm going to put the loop through the front side of it and pass the two ends through that loop. And I have the first one on there. So I'm going to do 5, just like I did on this one here, and then I'll show you the next step. So for my last one, my 5th one, I'm actually going to decide how long I want my earrings to be. So these ones here, I made them about, it looks like 2 inches. So I'm going to take one side of my hitch and make it nice and long. And then I'm going to make the other one about 2.5 or 3 inches just to give myself some room to cut it off and make it even with the other one. Okay, so now that I have these all hitched on there, I'm going to cut off the ends pretty close to where the finished length will be. And now I'm going to go back through with my long strand here, and I'm just going to do a couple hitches back this way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a loop just like this, and I'm going to place the strand next to it in that loop. Tighten that up to the top here, and then repeat that across the strands of each of these hitches. So now that I have my overhand knots all finished up, I did just secure that behind and tied it with a knot here and cut that off. I am going to go back and I'm going to apply some fabric glue to some of these knots on here, but for now I'm just going to finish this earring up. So again, I want to measure my length and see how long my other one was. So I'll probably start cutting right here. And then I'll just start fanning those out here. I'm also going to go back and use a wire brush to fan these out before I stick them in place with a little bit of fabric adhesive and water. All right, so I do just have a little bit more shaping to do on that one, but I'm going to attach my hardware, and I've essentially finished up my earrings. And now I have a pair of finished macrame earrings. So thanks again for joining us today for this tutorial. If you have made some macrame earrings of your own, or you know of any other techniques, you can definitely share those in the comments down below. Otherwise, we would definitely love to hear what you'd like to see next, whether it's another macrame tutorial, if you're interested in maybe watercolor or any other art or craft. Definitely leave that in the comments below as well. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.